Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today, as you can tell from the title, we are doing a permaloader. So, I know that Ilmango just did a video on this very recently, but I wanted to show you an even more compact version. So, here it is, in all of its glory, and of course there's one that's like this on the other side. Exactly the same. Throw in a item of your choice. It could be any item, and it loads in both sides. It's basically the same principle. An entity gets thrown through the portal, and then an entity goes back through the portal, and yada yada yada. It's basically the same thing. You can use it for some type of carrot farm. So if you have like a villager, I don't have a villager egg. Oh, anyway, so if you have like a villager, and then he becomes a farmer. Oh, it's too late in the day for him. Oh no. Anyways, he becomes a farmer, he will start tending to the crops, and so he'd pick them up, and then eventually you can have him empty the thing. So that's one use. Another use is for zero tick farms. So you can turn that on, and then later on it will just continue running. Another use is a very good use is an iron farm. So this is a very standard setup. You know, zombie scares the villager, yada yada yada, and then spawns in an iron golem. This is kind of a little bit loud. Okay, so we're here in the nether, and we got two rings. Well, not rings, but borders, I should say. This transparent one shows you right where the end of the entity loading chunks are. And what the entity loading chunks are is that entities still can process stuff. So they can process movement, like villagers, if they have a certain job, they'll go to their job site, do their job. Basically, stuff like that. And then, so it's the first three chunks. So the middle chunk where the portal is in, and then one chunk out in all directions, and then of course this chunk on the corner. Then we go on to redstone processing chunks. So it ends here, but it's this larger border. So that's where redstone can be processed. So you can have like stuff such as what do you call those? Zero tick farms. Yeah, anything to do with entities, you'd need to put the farms in here. Anything to do with redstone, you'd put the farms in here. So like if you want a honey farm, you'd put it in this entity loading area. And then there's one more chunk that this loads in. It's this last little ring of chunks, the 7x7 chunks. It honestly, they're called lazy chunks, and the reason is they don't do anything for you except for keep the mob cap. So if you have like a bunch of hostile mobs, they won't do anything except for take up the mob cap. So if you don't want that, light that area up. I don't know, make a perimeter around the chunk loader. Whatever you wish to do, you can basically do that in the 7th chunk. And if you don't know how to get this border overlay, you just hit F3 and G, and that pops up with the border. Or you can just do some math. Your certain area divided by 16, and that should give you your chunk that you're in, or approximately in. And then you just make a square, and then you go 16, and then another 16, and then 16 for the lazy chunk. But if you're lazy, just hit F3 and G. And that should be everything about the processing. So now, here we are in the iron farm. So we didn't even have to be here, and there's already another iron golem dead. So let's activate our zero tick farm. Oh, I grabbed the carrot. So as soon as you deactivate this, it slowly, it takes, I think it's 30 game ticks? I don't know, something like that. And then the other side will be unloaded until you throw another entity in there, and it will start loading it back up. So as you can see, the zero tick farm is currently operational. Later on, we'll get something that says, like, I think it's like loaded. Oh, I don't have it on here. Anyways, there's another one that says iron. That's to display our iron farm. And then, yep, there goes our iron. And so now we should see him. Yep, there's loaded, and that means the farm is working. So that's the villager picking up the carrots and then planting in new carrots, and then them getting bone meal, and yada yada yada. If you wanted to, you can have a bamboo zero-tick farm and a cactus zero-tick farm and make an XP farm if you wish. So it would be like an AFK sort of XP farm, and you don't even have to be in the chunks. You could be off AFKing an actual mob farm and have it still loaded in. So now I want to show you the entity processing chunks. So here we have the race. So basically this is the outer lap, and then this is the inner lap. We'll have the outer lap start first, followed by the inner lap. So it basically just like accelerates it, and then it just goes around in circles, and I don't know why that activated a second time. But then we should be able to see that come and touch that, and then that one touch that. So it's about equal, but yeah, there it goes. And then the inner lap isn't too far behind. Oh, there's a skelebone in there. Okay, whatever, I guess. So they're about equal in the race until we go out. And so when we go out, it's going to keep the inner lap loaded, but not the outer lap. And I'll show you why after I prove my point. Let's just wait for another inner lap to finish. Yeah, it would help to actually have your chunk loader operational before you try this race. So now we know that the inner lap beat the outer lap. Then we come in here and we see that the outer lap is actually still operational, but it didn't go off. And so the reason is, if some of you wise viewers out there probably notice this, but it's right on the outside of it. So it's right on the outside of the entity processing chunks. And that causes it to freeze right where it is. So it would basically be the same thing as this. Freeze right where it is. And then the inside is just right on the inside, so it was able to continue running. Anyways, what I wanted to show you with that example is that only in these three chunks, the 48 blocks, is the entity loading chunks. And that's where you can make your water streams. You can't make it 49 blocks. Which is kind of a downer, but hey, whatever, it's a chunk loader. It's not perfect. So now I want to show you the video of the chickens growing, and that's to show you that chicken farms actually still work. Dispensers still shoot, like, because Redstone's still active, so dispensers still shoot. So basically, as long as you make the chicken farm, it will be able to be ran. So let's go to that clip. Okay, so from that you saw that the chickens took a while to grow, but they still grew. The only way you could speed that up is feeding them seeds, but I don't think there's an automatic seed feeder. So now I want to show you the iron farm actually working whilst I am not there, and so the way that works is that villagers, their entities are still being processed, same with this zombie, and they can still see each other. So then the villagers get scared and spawn in an iron golem. So basically, villagers, as long as you build this iron farm in these 3 by 3 chunk area, then you should be perfectly fine. Yeah, I'd recommend making all your farms in this little area. Unless if they're redstone based, you can make them out here. But like if you have like a giant iron farm, as long as it's not bigger than basically this little square, it should be able to be run by this thing. Or you could have it in multiple layers. One part up here, and then another part down here, and another part like over here. So yeah, whatever you want to do with this permaloader, you can probably do it. If you want to see how to make this permaloader, I have a video in the description box below. So if you want to look at how to build it, it's very simple. It's literally just hopper, the rail, hopper minecart, comparator goes into a block, goes in a piece of redstone, powering a repeater on 4 ticks, then going into the dropper, basically a little dropper tower, and then another dropper right there. Observer observing that repeater, powering this block, powering this redstone. That's a very summarized version of it. If you want to see the full how to build it, just go on to my other video. And I think that's about wraps it up for this video. So if you did enjoy, please hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. It helps out the channel. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.